They call me the god of war. They paint me as a monster, bloodthirsty, mindless, drunk on destruction. But they never ask why. Why I am the way I am. Why my own father, Zeus, king of the gods, looked at me and felt nothing but disgust. Why I was born into a world that hated me before I ever lifted a spear. War is not my choice, it is my nature. And my nature was forged in rejection, in violence, in the cold truth that some beings are created not to be loved, but to be used. I am Ares, and this is not a story about glory. It is a story about what happens when the universe makes you a weapon and then blames you for being sharp. My parents were Zeus and Hera, king and queen of Olympus, the most powerful beings in existence. You would think such lineage would bring honor. It brought only shame. From the moment I was born, Zeus could not look at me. Not because I was weak, because I was everything he tried to hide within himself. The raw, uncontrollable violence that even the king of gods must suppress to rule. Hera, my mother, gave birth to me alone, without Zeus's involvement. A parthenogenic miracle, they called it. But I was no miracle. I was an embarrassment, a reminder that from the queen of the gods could spring something so uncivilized. I grew up in the shadows of Olympus, watching my half-siblings receive adoration. Athena, born from Zeus's head, wise and strategic. Apollo, beautiful and talented. Artemis, pure and independent. And me? I was sent to Thrace, a barbaric land, to be raised among people as wild as I was perceived to be. Even the gods didn't want me near them. What does a god become when the only love he receives is from the most violent people on earth? In Thrace, I found my element, not because I loved killing, but because their violence had purpose. It protected tribes, it established order, it was honest. In Thrace, when a man picked up a spear, everyone knew what he was. In Olympus, they wore masks of civility while stabbing each other with words and schemes. I preferred the honest blade. I became the god of war, but not the intellectual, strategic war of Athena. Hers is the war of generals, of planning, of winning from a distance. Mine is the war of the soldier, the man in the mud, the one who feels the spear enter his flesh and keeps moving forward because stopping means death. I am the scream of the wounded, the rage of the betrayed, the primal fury that rises when civilization falls away. The Greeks never understood this. They called me hateful, loathsome, the bane of mortals. But they prayed to me every time an enemy approached their walls. They sacrificed to me before every battle. They needed me. They just hated needing me. The most hated god is also the most necessary. What does that say about the people who worship him? But I was not only a lover, I was also a father. My daughter, Harmonia, married Cadmus, the founder of Thebes. I attended the wedding, gave gifts, tried for once to be what a father should be. But my shadow follows where I go. The necklace I gave her, crafted by Hephaestus, brought tragedy. The city of Thebes would know war because of my connection to it. And my son, Ascalaphus, fought in the Trojan War. When he died, I did something I had never done before. I begged Zeus for permission to bring him back. I, the god of war who had seen countless deaths without flinching, could not bear the loss of my own blood. Zeus refused, so I went to the battlefield myself, ignoring the rules that kept gods separate from mortal combat. I fought among the soldiers, not as a god, but as a father. Athena, my eternal rival, stopped me. She knocked me to the ground with a stone. Me, the god of war, felled by a rock. But the pain in my chest was not from the stone. It was from knowing that my son would never come home, and that the gods who laughed at my humiliation now watched me crawl in the dirt. What is more powerful, the rage of a warrior or the grief of a father. So here is the truth they don't tell you about me. I am not the glory of battle. I am not the thrill of victory. I am the moment after, when the fighting stops and the soldier looks at his hands and wonders who he has become. I am the nightmare that wakes veterans in the dark. I am the price of every freedom ever won. They needed me to build their cities, their civilizations, their empires, but they could not look at me afterward, so they made me the villain, the ugly god, the one to blame. And I accepted this, because someone must carry the weight of what war truly is. Someone must be the mirror that reflects humanity's capacity for violence, so they can pretend it belongs only to me, not to them. But I am not separate from you. I am you. Every time you choose anger over understanding, every time you strike out because you've been hurt, every time you protect what is yours with teeth and claws, that is me. That has always been me. I am Ares, the despised, the necessary, the father of fear and terror, and the grandfather of love. They will never build temples to me. They will never sing songs in my honor. But when the walls fall and the enemy advances, my name will be on every lip. Subscribe. The battle never ends.